Hey guys, it is MissSimReno and welcome back to another video with my face. I was just popping around my Discord the other day and I decided, you know what I'll do? I'll go ahead and ask everyone what they would like to see in The Sims 4. I don't know if it was a good idea or a bad idea yet. I posed the question in one single sentence, tell me what you want to see most in TS4, be specific, be kind, go. And let's just say that people did not disappoint. There were immediately tons of responses in here, and I wanted to kind of compile them a little bit, unpack them a bit, and really just kind of respond to what people would like to see in the game, because I think it's kind of interesting to discuss. It's not something that I have really done before on my channel, and therefore I thought, better late than never. The very first huge overarching theme that I was seeing in my Discord was that people would like real and or better babies in the game. If you guys did not know, there has been huge progression from the very first Sims game pertaining to babies and how they are actually integrated into gameplay, what they look like, and what they actually are. So in The Sims 1, we literally just had a bassinet. Your Sims could kiss and kiss and kiss, and suddenly one of them would ask, should we have a baby? And that is how you would have a baby in The Sims 1. I don't know if there are other ways, but that is definitely the way that I used to do it. And then you would just have a bassinet, it would cry, you would have to feed, rock the baby, maybe sing to it, cuddle it, and if you were neglectful, that baby was taken away by social services
immediately.
Like, it literally did not take much for the social worker to come. You would have to tend to that baby the second it started crying, or you were screwed. When it was time for the baby to age up, you immediately just got a child sim, and they were a child forever. So there was no real age progression in The Sims 1 at all. It was really just you chancing if your Sims were going to die in one of the many fires that they started in their houses.
Falling and I know that this will burn me. Because I'm playing with.
Or if they drowned in the pool. That used to be a thing. In The Sims 2 and The Sims 3, the babies were freed. They were no longer restricted to a bassinet. They actually aged into toddlers. You could put them in cribs. You could put them in baby swings in The Sims 3. You could put them in strollers. Your Sims would carry them around in like one arm. You could get a bottle from the fridge and feed them. You could bathe the babies in a sink in The Sims 2. One of the cutest things they've ever freaking done with babies in The Sims. Then, my friends, we get to The Sims 4. And our babies are now objects once again. I'm not going to speculate as to why this is, but I will say that as a player, someone who did play 1, 2, and 3, I was super disappointed to see that babies were now yet again restricted to their bassinets, unable to really feel like they were immersed in the family, like they were really part of the family. You couldn't even bring them downstairs with you if you wanted to. We don't have baby monitors, so it's not as though your Sims are really trying to listen out to see if the baby needs anything. And you can't really do much. You can show them off to other Sims, which doesn't usually work well for me. You could feed them, cuddle them, talk to them. There are a handful of interactions, and you can also dress them in onesies if you have the Nifty Knitting stuff pack. Now, I will say that dressing them in different onesies really helped me feel as though they were Sims compared to just objects, but still they're restricted to their bassinets, which have 3 swatches and 1 style. Like, that's literally it. And that's where they stay until they become toddlers, which, as a reminder, we didn't have toddlers until a free update, I think even maybe a year or 2 years after The Sims was initially released. So, we have babies now restricted back to bassinets, and we started off without the toddler life stage. Huge step back, in my opinion, from the previous Sims games. So that is a continued theme that I was seeing in the feedback from everyone in my Discord. We really want updated babies. We want them to feel like part of the family. We want them to be versatile. We want to be able to take them places and not just leave them in the bassinet at home with a babysitter or a nanny the second we leave the lot as well. Another theme that I was seeing pop up is story progression. Now, this is something that has been discussed in the Sims community for probably a good chunk of time. I don't really know the specifics of what people are looking for outside of basically families that you are not playing will actually progress in their lives. They will get married, they might have children, they might lose a job, they might get a job, they might do something else. There has to be some kind of progression in their lives, including maybe even skill building and things like that, if you are not actively playing that household. Because at the end of the day, that is what makes your world a lot more immersive if you are playing a sim or a family. Third on the list, we have cars. Now, I personally really liked having cars in The Sims 2 and The Sims 3. We did not have them in the very first Sims game. In The Sims 2 specifically, I think it was The Sims 2 Free Time, something like that. I might have to look it up, but there was this like junk car that your sim was able to fix up and then use, which I thought was just like amazing. I thought that was the coolest thing on the face of the planet. And you could also buy different cars. In The Sims 3, you could buy cars. And of course, we had the open world, The Sims 3. You could get in your car, go downtown in your car, and then it would just like pop into your inventory when you arrived at your destination. And it would be like the preferred mode of transportation if you were going to go elsewhere in the town. In The Sims 2, I honestly can't even really remember how much I used cars, but we had them. That's what was important. Now in The Sims 4, we don't have the open world, and we also don't have cars. The only cars that we have are in the debug menu. As a builder, I will place cars in driveways to kind of just add that little sense of realism, but I really do wish that we had the ability for our Sims to even get in a car and just kind of like drive off into a loading screen, and then load up, pulling up to the lot they were going to, and just have their car in their inventory or something like that. They wouldn't have to be super functional, even if it was your child Sims getting in a school bus and then disappearing to go off to school in their little rabbit hole, and we don't see them until the end of the day. Having transportation, even very small animations, very, very small and simple functionality would make so much of a difference in The Sims 4, in my opinion. So I definitely share that want with folks in my Discord, as well as Better Babies. Let me just put that out there. I support both of these. There was also a theme within these responses about better wood tones for objects, and I thought that this one was really interesting because I can't determine whether or not this is just because these particular individuals enjoy building more than playing the game, if that even comes into the equation at all, but I do really like this one, and I'm glad that people brought it up because some of the, I guess, issues that I've had with objects that we've gotten as of late, I'm thinking like the Nifty Knitting stuff pack, even the Paranormal stuff pack, even though I love the objects that we got and I like most of the swatches, we are missing just more neutral, muted colors and wood tones in a lot of the objects that we have. They're really vibrant, or they're pastel, or just very loud, and that's not everyone's style. Some people like more muted, natural wood tones, and we could go on and on about the fact that not all of the wood tones across various packs or in the base game match. In fact, I would even piggyback on this idea and say that we need the wood tones updated for base game badly. A few people also wanted more events or more just playable activities for Sims of all ages. So for example, maybe more after-school clubs for kids. We want more events. For example, maybe more after-school clubs for kids. I think that would be really neat considering we have 2 already. So I would kind of hope for more in the future, but we haven't seen any since, I want to say, Get Famous. And I don't even know when that pack came out, so it's clearly been a while. Other events could include a baby shower or an engagement party, things like that that really celebrate life milestones for your Sims. I'm thinking even a retirement party would be really, really cool for our elder Sims. Just really things to celebrate, like I said, life's milestones without having to completely pretend. There could be achievements that you're trying to get for these events as well. They could be scored, there could be particular rewards, and it would probably be really easy to try to integrate some of those systems into what we already have in the game. There is a small theme about traits as well for The Sims 4, and I would want to kind of expand upon this one a little bit, so I'd be interested to hear what you guys have to think about this one, and all of these, honestly. But some people wanted more traits and then others wanted more trait slots. So that I think is very interesting because if we did have more trait slots, we would be able to really feel as though we were fleshing out our Sims' personalities. However, if we also just had more traits, such as in The Sims 3 or 2? Do we have traits in The Sims 2? We had traits. Can't remember. It would also give our Sims a lot more depth. Imagine if you had even 5 trait slots. You would really, really feel as though you could make individual Sims, and sometimes those traits will conflict with one another, making for very interesting gameplay and organic chaos.
Which we all love.
One user brought up something really important that I want to highlight as well as a really, really strong want. And this kind of ties in with, I think, the need for individual pronouns in The Sims 4, as well as non-binary options. But I think we need more clothing that is gender fluid. And that is what this user brought up. And I wanted to make sure that I put that in there. And I want to expand upon that in the future, because I think that that is also really, really important. Create a Sim all in all, aside from the update to the skin tones, which thank goodness we got, because that was well over freaking due. But I think Create a Sim all in all kind of needs a little bit more of an overhaul. Last but certainly not least, and it kind of piggybacks on the trait idea, either having more traits or more trait slots, a user in my Discord brought up wanting the preferences back to really give more depth to their Sims. So whether that would be their favorite food or their preferred attractiveness things, like if they like long hair or they like Sims with freckles, if they like Sims that dress formal, whatever the case is, I think that was a really strong system in The Sims 2, and I thought it was wonderful. It kind of threads itself into an attractiveness system as well, which we really don't have in The Sims 4 at all right now. But this user noted that it adds the quirkiness back to The Sims, and it's something that they fell in love with in the original Sims games. And I think that that is so powerful and so, so important. Thanks for hanging out, guys. I thought it would be kind of a fun video to make to really kind of pull all of these things together and bring them to light, especially because I haven't done something like this before on the channel. So if there are things that you want to see in The Sims 4, definitely leave them in a comment down below, and I will catch you guys next time I post a video. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye!